weird job. I am the perfume critic of the New York Times. Don't ask. It was this thing. I have a master's degree in international economics and Japanese political economy. I speak Japanese. That's from SAIS, School of Advanced Internationals at Johns Hopkins. I then, of course, I wrote this long piece for the Atlantic Monthly and submitted it to James Fallows, who had just come back from Japan. He loved it. It was on the importation of foreign car parts into the Japanese automotive market, which I had researched entirely in Japanese. Very proud of that. And came out to him at the same time. I was 25, I was coming out of the closet. And he said, oh, great, everybody Deb and I know is gay. And so 2 months later he comes back and he says, well, I have sort of weird news for you. We can't use the Japan piece for various reasons. We've had so much reporting on that. But we'd like you to do something on gay issues. I said, well, I'm not a professional homosexual. And he said, yeah, but we've never had a piece on gay stuffs, and we'd love you to do that. And I wound up becoming a science writer. I actually wrote a book called A Separate Creation on the biology of sexual orientation. Because I had written that, I was standing on the Gare du Nord train station in Paris in 1998, and I was standing next to this guy who was behind me. He's sort of a nice-looking guy, and he's smiling at me and smiling at him. I thought he's a little old for me, but whatever, I'm single. And so I start talking to him. Of course, he turns out to be straight. He's just this nice guy. He's a scientist. We talked the entire way to London. As we pulled into Waterloo, I said, I'm going to write a book on you. This is the book I wrote, The Emperor of Scent. And I wrote this book. It's about his theory of a new theory of olfaction. Nobody understands how we smell. Now, I want you all to do something. I want you to actually close your eyes and smell. You smell anything? Okay, open your eyes. You find that completely normal. I now, at this point in my life, find this completely abnormal. It is actually, from an evolutionary point of view, totally abnormal. I didn't have any visuals, okay? People here found this weird because we are visually based, because we think of design in terms of vision. We think of designs in terms of auditory stimuli also. And smell, you say smell, as Luca always said, people sort of titter as if you've asked them to take their clothes off. We are so utterly out of touch with smell, and yet smell is absolutely a part of design. I designed a scent interior for the Park Hyatt Chicago, which I loved doing. It was wonderful, and it was an incredible exercise in the design of scent, and it had to be a design that reflected olfactorily the interior of this very specific hotel. And what I did was I created something with a smell that I had remembered. I was in an elephant preserve in a jungle in India for an olfactory conference, believe it or not, which is one of the stories I tell in this. And I remember smelling raw green pepper. And it's the black pepper that you get at the supermarket, but it was unripe and it was on the tree. And we actually did that, and it has an incredibly clear, crystalline, beautiful, pure scent that reflects perfectly the neo-modernist visual design of the Park Hyatt Chicago, which is a gorgeous hotel. And so those are the things that we made it. And I wanted to talk about basically three things today. This is an example of, all of these have to do with smell and design, all right? So it's sort of one little piece of the perfume criticism I do, and then I'm going to tell you two very short stories. The perfume criticism, I wrote in this book, this is my book, The Perfect Scent, and this actually just came out in January. It's based on an article that I did, a long article I did for The New Yorker, which came out in March of 2005. David Remnick wanted me to do this piece. I didn't actually want to do it. And he said, well, you did this book on perfume. I said, well, actually, I didn't do a book on perfume. I did a book on smell. He said, yeah, but your guy's very interested in perfume and this sort of thing. I went behind the scenes at Hermes for a year and watched the creation of her perfume. Did the piece. The New York Times contacted me. They said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be your perfume critic. Stefano Tonchi is the head of style there. He looks at me like this. He says, I love it. We'll do it. So we did it. So I write scent notes. So that's how I do it. So that's what he said. I try to do Stefano. I always wind up with Russian instead of Italian. I don't know why. I can't do his accent.